know what just happened there, but we are back. What did we miss? Looks like... let's see, where did I last see? It was the retrieval of the free rats at the ping. He played Lando Calrissian to the Tatooine Cantina by himself, which is fine. Then we have R2-D2 on Red 5, Alora's Matic to the Millennium Falcon, then Falcon moved to Corellia. And then Outrider moved to Bespin, Red 5 moved to Bespin. Okay. Alright, not too bad. So Paul is losing to Drains. We got Out of Commission combo. We have I Don't Like Sand, both from reserve. We have Out of Commission from hand, X-Wing Laser Cannon from reserve. Okay. Chris here getting ready to take advantage of Lando's once per game text to just pick up Lando from hand after the battle gets initiated. Also, he gets to swap first to get It Could Be Worse. Well, It Could Be Worse is the one that jumps to mind immediately. It doesn't have to be that one. Could be anything. Okay. And now Paul's going to try spreading on the ground more here, which seems reasonable. Got the Endor docking bay and Blizzard 8 and some kind of ISB agent, I would assume. Paul gets the first action, so like a random 4-lom non-V could ruin Chris's day. I mean, yes, but Lando's once per game swap is a just action, so he gets to do it before the top level actions. So if there is something like a 4-lom non-V or something along those lines, he can like pick up Blast the Door Kit or something. And I mean, I would assume that Chris has some sort of other evasion in hand in case, you know, like a Vader comes down or something like that. Nope, he's just going to do the swap and then pick up Lando. Or he may actually do the swap and then like play Blast the Door Kit anyway, because then he'll be satisfying battle plan. I almost like that better, actually. Because Paul still needs to find his cold feet in order to stop Watcher Step shenanigans. Exchanges a card with It Could Be Worse. Okay, so he's probably just going to pick up Lando. Or I guess he could... He can't dodge, I don't think. No, he's just going to pick up Lando. Okay. He can dodge. Might not have Blast Door Kid, might just be It Could Be Worse. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking there could also be like some other evasion. There could be like there could be a dodge or something along those lines, but nope. Seems like he was just planning on doing exactly what he did there. Alright, so the Executor and the Stalker are going to come back over to Bespin. With the Courier, I've moved Marajek to the docking bay. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised there was no ISB agent to go to Endor, so that drain is a little bit more damaging. Alright, so he pays his maintenance, moves the Imperial fleet over to Bespin. So this is going to be more expensive now for Chris to move away because of the hidden text on this card on They Must Never Again Leave the City. From Bespin to a non-Bespin location requires +1 force. So that'll be something to consider. I kind of wonder why he didn't split... Well, okay. I was going to say, I kind of wonder why he didn't split them so we wouldn't have to send both of them away. This way, though, he does get to move one of them first, see what the Stalker does, and then he can either leave the other one there or move the other one if the stalker doesn't follow, he can move the other one to Coruscant or Corellia. I guess I don't know that he can actually make it to Coruscant. Red 5 can make it to Coruscant. Alright, so we got a drain of 1, which is going to prompt... So we got the Lebo ping first. Drain of 1 is going to prompt the Kira ping. So it is going to be 3 damage here. Paul lost Kashyyyk system from hand, Tarkin V from hand, and then another free executor effect from hand. So he is maintaining his life force losing from hand. He doesn't have a lot of kind of extraneous cards he really doesn't need. Luke's going to retrieve 1. That makes sense. A few maneuvers. Yeah, a few maneuvers could get Outrider to Coruscant. Coruscant's not like a great place for him to be, but he's fine. It could certainly be worse. 19's a lot of power. So Luke's retrieval does pick up the X-Wing laser cannons, which is relevant. Tries to flash with Mirax and misses. Odds of hitting were not super likely with only 2 cards left in reserve. I believe this is R2D2, no V. Yeah. Sure. That seems cool. There's so many good numbers here. There's the 3PO. So 3PO is gonna draw. Now that 3PO is in play, we're really going to be looking at wirfs being able to abuse some interrupts. There's another projection. Completely blocking the drain at the Endor docking bay. There's a long hold there. I wonder if Paul has an altar. No, that can't be the case because he can't. Or no, altar combo is immune to the objective. Do we make up Star Wars cards when we were kids? I mean, I didn't, but that's because I didn't start playing this game until 6 years ago, so I wasn't a kid. So, did I ever make up Star Wars cards like otherwise though? Yes. Adam Fletcher and I made up Communing and the Communing Jedi. So, Paul could try to flip the script on time. Yeah, I mean Chris has certainly taken a lot of time here while I was restarting. So. It is worth pointing out that as much as we've been ragging on Paul a bit for time expenditure, he does actually get to put the pressure on wirfs as far as time goes, because wirfs does have to play very carefully in order to make up the diff. Like, it's not a huge amount of diff to make up his 8, but it's not nothing. He does have to be cognizant of that, and he does have to play carefully to make sure that he wins by enough. So So Paul knows that, so he can take his time a little bit more, uh, knowing that the pressure is going to be on his opponent as much as it's on him. So Outrider moves away to the Tatooine system. We will see if the Stalker follows. It does not. Now Red 5 moves over. Now we'll see if the Stalker follows. Nope. Seems like he's content to leave the Stalker over there. I believe Cherno would work here, right? Any battleground system controlled by a Star Destroyer within 2 boxes. Yeah, so it would have worked if he had moved over, but probably he's content not to do that. The Stalker does only get to do it once a game, so he does want to pick his spot there, and moving over during wirfs' turn as opposed to during Paul's turn doesn't really make any difference, so he's caught up on time at the end. wirfs love more things to do. Yeah, very true. Gonna be down to the wire. Yep. So we have it could be worse to reduce another drain by 2. We have a drain of 2 at Bespin. I wonder when Chris is going to find a control tunnel vision. He hasn't played one yet this game. And it seems like it would be huge right now. BB-8 and Black Squadron 1 from hand. And the free red combo from hand, or from reserve. Well, might could be worse. It could be worse, say Ion Gap. I mean, it's. I do too, man. But you know. Oh, he plays another copy of It Could Be Worse to get the drain for 3 at the Cantina. Wow. Feels like that. Feels like that. It's a hit was grabber bait actually. Now that it's playing out. Because Chris is going to get to pick up both of those. It could be worse with his 3PO. Yeah, Mirrex and 3PO to cycle both. Yeah, he has Mirrex also. Yep. Alright, so we got the Vengeance to Bespin. And Jonas over there to the Blizzard 8, so that there's a drain of 1 over there now. So the Stalker's just going over to Kessel now. So he's just spreading. He's not even worried about the. I mean, the drain of 1 at Tatooine certainly doesn't matter, so that makes sense. But Paul retrieves one with his objective, and now he's drawing up cards. So ostensibly, it certainly looks like Paul is has a fair lead on board on the game here, where he's draining 2, 4, 6, 8, 11. But Chris does have some mitigation going on. He has the effective drain of 3 at Corellia, with the pings on Lebo and Kira. He gets the retrieval with Luke. And, I mean, Watch Your Step is a really good objective. All the things being drains of 2 are pretty big for Paul. Yep. Yeah, for We're Doomed, yeah. What about the Castle Run, Hungry Man? The Castle Run was completed, and he did the retrieval already with it. Um, are you saying that the Kelsh run being completed is big because of Kira and Lando? That I would certainly agree with. And then if wirfs can find Chewbacca to turn off the retrieval, that'll help as well. Okay, so we got the drain at Corellia, which causes a loss of a Lieutenant Paltridium and an extra Executor effect. Retrieves one, the free ride combo. We do have the Lebo ping still. Yeah, there's the Lebo ping. Into the Bureaucrat from hand. Well, Paul lost everything from hand that turn. Just all these extra things he didn't need. So Chris does not drain at Tatooine. Well, of course, because that's drain of 0. He doesn't really have a lot of places to go now. This is the tough part. He could try to piece together the X-wing cannons and the power pivot, but he's given Paul enough time to find Wolfie Laren if he needs it. And so he uses Mirax to draw. It's all taking too much time, and Paul can just drain retrieve pass. Yeah, I mean, part of it is not just the execution of the actions, because Chris does have a lot of actions he needs to resolve, but he also is just trying to figure out a game plan to do things here. Like he puts a Melis and Captain Lando Calrissian to the Tatooine docking bay to satisfy battle order. It just doesn't do a lot though, because those characters aren't going to drain at all. Wirf's now using all the time. Yeah, he's actually behind on time now. He's behind by a little more than 2 minutes. The Outrider lands. Then everybody gets out. He draws cards. Could be Fallen Portal bait. I mean, yeah, it could be. It could be Fallen Portal bait Joker King, but I just don't see why Paul would even bother attacking. There's just no reason to. Like we went over it last turn, he's doing 11 damage here. And Chris drew 1 card? No reason for to battle into it now. I mean, there wasn't a reason even with just the Melis and the Lando. Like, there's really no reason for Paul to battle on the ground to fight over a drain of 0. Like, Paul's way ahead in the damage race right now. Yeah, he just activates everything. So it messes with the opponent. Playing a fast player, playing slow messes with their flow. I mean, a little bit. Hungry Man. I would say that that's probably a little bit more. That might be a little bit more of a thing. That might be a little bit more of a thing, like in real life. I don't. I don't feel like that's. I don't feel like that kind of. I don't feel like that kind of like tempo disruption matters as much on Gemp because because your clock is more individual to yourself on Gemp. But I don't know. That's just my impression of it. I don't feel like I'm thrown off when my opponent plays fast or slow necessarily. So, of course, I'm the one who complains about the Gemp timer eating my time when I'm drawing Battle Destiny. So, that's me. He did lose a control tunnel vision from reserve, so now he's going to use it to cancel the drain of 2 at Bespin. Why that one? Did he already do the drain of 3? That might be why. Nope. Weird. Alright, then Paul's going to drain 2 at Kessel. There's the It Could Be Worse. Ultimate is out to us, so it doesn't matter. Sure. Okay, that's fair. That's a fair reason, I suppose, to have played those 2 characters at the docking base. You're satisfying Ultimatum and Battle Plan. Why was it only a drain of 1 at the under landing platform? Oh, because of the projection, of course. Alright, and then drain at the Cantina kills Pulsar Skate and Rebel Artillery from reserve. Alright, so Worse has mitigated the damage here, but yeah, no Menace Fades currently JNAP. Menace Fades would be a game changer. That'd be huge. Because I would think that Paul very likely doesn't have any ships left. So he would not be able to block Corellia at all. So then it just comes down to like actually having to fight at the docking bay. Which, I mean, that he could probably do, but as I think about it, I kind of feel like Menace Fades would be good, but for like a turn, and then after that, it's kind of whatever. I don't know if this deck even has Chewy. I'm starting to wonder that. Um, the Chewy certainly would have been great a while ago, and I don't know if it's. He's probably kicking himself for that one if it's not in there. Yeah, Chewy would have been very helpful earlier, for sure. Lord Maul with lightsaber. Hmm. Um. Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing, Desai. I'm not really sure why Lord Maul would go there. That doesn't really seem to accomplish very much. That's already a capped drain. Seems like putting him to the end or landing platform would be better if you're just trying to drain race with it, or putting him to the docking bay if you want to block the drain is better. Either one of those seem like those would work out a little bit better, but we'll see what Paul has in store here, I guess. With all the free red combos Paul had, Chris said I think Paul was on deal. Yeah, yeah. And then Menace Fades might not be in the deck because it doesn't really do anything against deal. Sure. Yeah, Presence of the Skywalker times 2 doesn't make sense if you're looking at your opponent playing deal, so. Maybe Paul's nervous that Chris is going to move in, so Maul is a preventative measure. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Okay, so Paul also played Grand Admiral Thrawn non-V to the Stalker at Kessel, and then he moved the Stalker in front of Luke at Tatooine, And now he's just switching which Star Destroyer he moves from Bespin, which is fine. And then he retrieves an ISB agent and pays maintenance, and it's probably going to save 2 force. Retrieves Paltradium. Should not have played Thrawn with this move. Yeah, Thrawn doesn't really do like a lot at that system. Especially now that you've played the Lord. Yeah, so alright, I think I'm following, I think, with Desai's hands. If you played Lord Maul here as a preventative measure to stop Chris from moving into the Cantina, that kind of leaves you in the spot where you may as well fly the Outrider back up. But Outrider in Red 5 against the Stalker there with Thrawn doesn't really accomplish much because Thrawn can't draw the extra Destiny at the Tatooine system. Alright, so Wirfs activates, does his damage again. Pinging, losing another ISB agent. Thanks, Younger Man, appreciate it, I'll try. Without somebody else in the booth with me, we gotta play off the chat as much as I can. Alright, and then Force Push from hand for Myers. Lieutenant Paltradium from reserve. Yeah, this is, I mean, as we were saying, like, not having the Chewie is a big deal here, because Paul effectively, like, lost 1 force to that ping of 3, because he can retrieve those 2 ISB agents. Unless Zuckuss and Miss Hunter is coming down. That would be quite a tech piece. If Paul is just like slow rolling some sort of independent starship here, oh, that would be wild. I mean, I agree, Joker King and Dan. I doubt that he's playing it. But it certainly seems like that has the potential to be a blowout play if he does have it. So, and I'm always for the surprise blowouts. So Paul just needs to keep plugging on. Yeah, I mean Paul doesn't really have to do much here. Although it is worth pointing out that right now, as we're in the middle of Chris's turn, he did retrieve with Walkling. He is up 20 to 14 cards down and down 3 in hand because Paul has 5, Chris has 2. So he is up 3 cards here. He's down in time, and as we've been discussing, he's gonna be using more time as the game goes on. So he's gonna have to actually win this game inside of time. He's not gonna be able to time Paul out. Doesn't seem like. Surprise blowout coming. You know what would be a wild surprise blowout? Is if Chris does fly up the Outrider here, and then Paul plays Lieutenant Wolf or plays Colonel Wolf Yularen and then passes with a bunch of force left. Oh, there's a surprise blowout. Gravity Shadow. Oh no. Ooh, that is a bad one. That's very, very bad. Gravity Shadow drew a 4 and blew up Luke Skywalker V in Red 5 and R2D2. That's very, very bad. Yeah, everyone's saying GG in the game in the chat here. I don't. That's gonna be tough to come back from. All right. So Chris is going to recalibrate here. He's going to move the Millennium Falcon in front of the Vengeance at Bespin. Man, what do? You have to fly up, right? You have to fly the Outrider, put the Outrider up in front, so that you're satisfying ultimatum again. Man, that was really bad. That wasn't even the blowout I was thinking of. That's a much more reasonable blowout. That is probably more expected. I was thinking if he saves 3 force and then reacts with the blockade support ship, which is a Trade Federation ship, so he'd get to draw 2 multiple Battle Destinies of Tatooine. That would be also very unexpected for him to be playing a blockade support ship in ISB, but yeah, so Chris just has to pick up his guys and hope now. That's probably the nail to get Paul. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, losing Luke there was a really, that was a really big loss. Because he did also peel already the Luke Rebellion's Hope, his other Luke. So even if he can retrieve the Red 5, somehow getting all of that back onto the table is probably not going to happen. He did retrieve the Pulsar Skate, so that's something. So he does still have access to another ship in there, which I presume he would just have to park at Corellia at this point. He's going to use 3PO. He saved. Chris did save 5 force here. Paul activates down to 1. And then Chris uses Mirax as well. So with this sequencing of using his reserve deck draws with 3PO and Mirax, wirfs has stacked the bottom 2 of his use piles. He's going to know what those 2 are for the next turn. Unclear if that's going to matter a whole lot, but that is that is something that is now true. And he's going to have to deal with the 5 points of drains here. So there's it could be worse again. One of the 2, it could be worse. He's down to exactly 14 in life force, so he gets to now play the We're Doomed. So that's going to stop the drain at the Endor landing platform. Oh, I missed the Executor drain. Yes, it's going to lose 1 from that one. Vader Battle Melis. Sure. I mean, I believe that bottom card's probably the I believe that bottom card is probably the Death Squadron assignments, so Cantina is still 2. Each time you must use 4. Yes, I think it should still be 2 because it's a drain of 4, and then reduced in half, and then limited to 2. Yeah, so yeah, it should still be a drain of 2. Wirfs loses the best smuggler around from hand and the Hear Me Baby from reserve. And the drain of 1 at the under landing platform is not going to be any damage. Wait. Oh, okay. Yep. There's the Steadfast. Okay, so that's a ship that he could reasonably have, although that one is not. Oh no. Oh no. That's a disaster. Lateral damage. So that's extremely bad. 31 to 0 is not where you want to be. Oh, there's Colonel Wolfie Larrant. I don't feel like that's the ship you wanted to put him on, but well, actually, either way is probably fine. That doesn't really matter. It's reducing by 0 anyway, so it's sort of irrelevant. Yeah, this is a fine battle now. Battle damage is halved, yeah. Where Doom does apply to battle damage, so there's a silver lining to be had yet. few maneuvers. Okay. Okay. I do my best, Hunger Man. This is already now twice as many battles as they had in the last game. So, well played by Paul. Yeah. Yeah. Paul, um, lacking the cold feet to uh, defend against watch your steps, interrupt tricks. He did dig for the tricks that he had to handle what Chris is doing. He might not take over though. He might not actually. Min would have been great for Paul. Yeah. So wirfs is gonna use heading, or use the objective to play heading to add one to the destiny. All wings report in was cancelled. 17 battle damage. He doesn't have to take overflow, I suppose. Because Lando is 6. Mirax is 7. Dash is also 7. I mean, he can't really lose both of those pilots, but yeah. It's really bad either way. Like, all wings was a destiny draw, not a spin. Yes, and was canceled with Tarkin. So, for being a battle where he went into a 33-0, um, that didn't actually go as bad for wirfs as it could have. So, slow play timeout. I think this is certainly one of those situations where Paul's not going to time out. I mean, again, like we harp on Paul for being a very deliberate player. My experience has really been that he doesn't time out that much. I mean, I haven't played him against him that much, but from what I've seen, it seems to be mostly, oh, Paul won with 1 minute left on his clock is more often what occurs. So it doesn't look likely that it's going to take that much time at this time, though. He plays fast when he needs to. Yeah, exactly. He takes his time early in the game when there's plenty of time to do so, and then he's thought through the lines of play enough that he doesn't need to recalibrate that much later in the game, so he can just kind of blow through it really quick. It's a level of play that I'm aspiring to get to. We're not anywhere near there yet, but we're working on it. We'll focus on making all the plays correctly first, and then we'll try to speed them up. So I'm not sure. So all right, wirfs is activated. He's trying to draw back to his we're doomed and it could be worse and all that stuff again. He's gonna he's in he man. I'm just not even sure what he can do to kind of make all this up now. He doesn't know where the pulsar skate is. So I wonder if maybe he drew that. He's doing 0. No, he's doing 1 damage. He's doing 1 damage because he's the ping with Lebo. So he could play the pulsar skate here. Is that even good? Like, pulsar skate can battle. So what if you, let's see, what if you have pulsar skate and 2 pilots in your 4 cards? Can you afford all of that to play against the executor? And then if you do that, is that battle even good for you? Because he has Decree still, so he still gets to draw Destiny. That's actually probably not that good. If you have a pilot, it's probably better to pilot the Outrider and run away. Gotta stall, force a timeout. It's not really easy to stall and force a timeout when you're already down 6 minutes. And behind on board. Oh, okay. So he's got Pulsar Skate and Wedge. So that's step one. Imperial Barrier. Oh no. Man, Paul's hand was very, very good. He had plenty of time to sculpt it, to be fair. So it's not like lucky that it was good. Hey, there's the Chewbacca. Right on time. The turn 9 Chewbacca here. So he actually did have the Pulsar Skate and 2 pilots. And he just draws. He just draws now. Leaves the Falcon in front of the Stalker. Star Wars CCG is greatest of all time. I mean, I certainly would suspect that everyone in this chat's going to agree with you on that, Hungry Man, because that's what we're all doing here, is watching this game. So. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. 8 damage should be, or no, 7 damage. Should be 7 damage this turn. No, Chris, what are you doing? That is not the one. That's not the one, Chris. So he plays It Could Be Worse to reduce the drain at the Cantina, but the drain at the Cantina is already capped, and the It Could Be Worse goes on top of the cap. So the 4 damage gets reduced to 2 and then limited to 2. So the It Could Be Worse doesn't actually do anything there. Using the It Could Be Worse on literally any of the other drains would have been better. Chris says, I think I've given up here. Yeah, I think he remembered immediately after that occurred that was how that worked. And, yep. Yeah, Chris is saying GG. I think he's just going to pack it in now. Couldn't overcome all those missed pulls early. Yeah, I mean, wirfs had, again, really actually the same kind of problem that Paul's joking that he's lucky he didn't time out. Chris kind of had the same problem that he had in the TTO game, where just he just missed all of his pull chains, which made it so that his deck set up much, much slower than it was supposed to, and he gave his opponent just a lot more time to set everything up, sculpt his hand, get everything set the way he wanted. Paul was threatening damage sooner than Chris was in both games, and just ended up. I mean, the first game certainly ended up close enough that it was. Chris getting set up a turn earlier might have even made the difference. And then in this one, Chris was just on the back foot the whole game because he just couldn't piece things together the way he wanted and get things set the way he wanted. They're just chatting about the game now. His misfortune, his squadron assignment pulls. Yeah, Paul says it was a really good deck design. Yeah, and Paul says that he was trying to balance playing aggressive on the ground with not losing the Executor, which makes sense and goes along with what Sai was saying earlier as well. That the played one more guy to the Executor and one less guy to the Cantina than Desai says he would have liked. But I think actually, I mean, the read that he had of Chris's deck and the way that it played out, I think it made sense to deploy it the way that he did. Because losing the two guys in the ground is not a big deal, but losing the executor is a big deal. So I think going safe there makes a lot of sense. Um, Chris could have maybe done a few things differently that have gravity shadow be more of a gut punch. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the gravity shadow was really tough to overcome, but I mean, this ISB, the way that it's constructed, is certainly set up to be trying to fight in space like that, and so it's going to have a lot of those space tricks. I don't think. Let me see here. I don't think from the things that he had played out that you can necessarily assume that that's how his deck was going to be constructed. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a way that Chris could have like reasonably foreseen that those were things that Paul could have. I mean, it's not that hard even just to like splash a lateral damage into. Uh, Chris failed to concede, so I guess he's just gonna time out. Um, Hopefully this game was more entertaining than the first one, Paul says. It was. There certainly was a lot happening in here, and there's a lot of back and forth. The TTO versus Hiko doesn't really have even any positioning back and forth. It's just like we're setting our stuff up and playing our tricks and seeing what happens. So, Paul wondered because Chris didn't concede. Um, I wonder what the statistics are for first game win to second game win percentage-wise. I would be curious to know the actual numbers on that too, Hungry Man. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I would certainly assume that. I mean, obviously, first game win is an advantage to winning second game. Um, like that's, I mean that's certainly clear. Um, whether, yeah, I don't really have, I guess, a lot else to say on that. I would certainly be surprised to find out that the loser of the first game wins the second game more often. I would expect it probably depends a lot on the metagame and the format, because there are certainly times one side is uh, when the sides are imbalanced, and so one side is stronger enough that like you're kind of expecting to lose with one side or the other, um, and so losing game one when you were playing the weaker side doesn't matter as much to you, and you can still win the match in game two. I don't think that's the case in this meta. I think this meta is balanced enough that I don't think it's that imbalanced. But um, EBT would be the one to ask. Yeah, I don't know if Adam's still in the chat. I think he was earlier. Oh, and for my random giveaway here, since you guys are all still here, we are going to roll 1 to 6 here. Nope, not that way. Sure. Because I had 6 people choose Paul as the winner of the game, which I guess Chris hasn't actually lost the game yet because he failed to concede, but we'll roll our 1 to 6 here. Alright, so I'm rolling on the Star Wars app too. Number 2. That's going to be Chris Gogolin is the winner of our Reflections 4-pack. Congratulations, Chris. And thanks to everybody who came out to watch. We got some more giveaways to do this week, so it's not just this one. I think particularly Wednesday and Thursday, I want to say, are going to be big nights for a lot of games, so definitely tune into those if you can to try to get some of those giveaways. And yeah, that's round 1 of our round of 16 game of our round of 16 OCS playoffs complete. Paul Myers is going to advance, and that is going to bring him to. Let me see if I can find the playoff bracket really, really fast. That means he is going to be awaiting the winner of Brian Fred and Justin Branch, or B. Fred and Silver Glen. I do not, off the top of my head, remember when exactly they're going to play. Let's see if it's listed here. It does not appear to have been updated in the resource that I had with 2 seconds of looking. So just keep an eye out for the next games to be announced. They're going to be happening all throughout the week. A lot of guys I know are playing like afternoon Eastern time. So there's going to be, not just games at the night. So that's all I've got for you guys. So thanks for joining me on the stream. And I hope you guys all have a good night, and we'll see you guys later in the week for some more OCS games.